Alright, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the conclusion of our Black Canvas Cup, our Generations Tour. We're here for the final tour night, which is going to be the Black Canvas Cup semifinals and other matches, and our pay-per-view. So, a shorter episode in theory, and usually I've been booking these on screen with you guys since I've been live streaming, but because of the way the tournament turned out and me wanting to use my no time limit thing to the fullest effect, I really ran out of time to pre-book anything until this one show. So I started booking it, and it's like, I'm going to need to do this off screen and just have it ready for you guys. So nothing happened backstage. Maeda gave like psychology to his two proteges. Other than that, nothing really happened. So, yeah, it is time to find out who will be main eventing the Generations 2020 card and what else will be happening on the show other than the Cobras versus the Spine Breakers in, the match that's basically for Marvel Malloy's contract. So, let's get into it. We open the show with a technical masterclass. Razan Okamoto makes another appearance here on the tour. He hasn't been able to do much, but he's here, and he gets a victory nice with his boy Shark. They get the victory over the Politicians. Great way to start the show, and we move on. Just fucking kidding. Boys, his strategy ain't changing. The second Razan lets his guard down, he is jumped from behind from Suguru Emoto, who beats him down, and he lays him out, and he grabs a microphone, and he says, I don't care what Furusawa says. I don't care what anybody that watches BCG in the back of the locker room says. I know what I'm doing, and I know how to rise to the top of a company. See, my problem was I had two jobbers weighing me down, holding me back. My strategy's gonna work. I'm gonna take out anyone that stands in my way. And you know what, Razan? You stand in my way of holding that title. There are no depths that I won't sink to reach the top of this card. So at the pay-per-view, you're going to face me. And it won't be for the title. Maeda definitely won't give me that. But I'm going to beat you at the pay-per-view, and then I'll beat you again, Razan. See you there. 63 for that. We have a non-title match. Suguru Emoto, he's still himself. He's still doing his own thing. Jumping people, forcing his way into opportunities, and a non-title match against the world champion at Generations 2020 he gets. Next up is, of course, the Young Lion match. Suguru and Sofuzawa and the Silent Killers defeat the Young Boys. This was, gives Suguru a nice win beforehand, put the Silent Killers on the show, get Sofu a win. Good old 50 here. Up next is a trios match. Showtime's Raw Power and Washi Tanaka, the aforementioned jobbers that Suguru Emoto was talking about, all get really good performances as they beat the Doi Boy, and Ant Next gets a 61, and 61 for this match. 78, first match of the semifinals. We have Tanyu Toshusai versus Mabuchi Furusawa, and the match goes 28 minutes and 4 seconds before I lock in the Furusawa armbar, and Furusawa advances to the finals. He is the first man in the finals of the first ever Black Canvas Cup. And the next match, Rokuemon Matsushita versus Funakoshi. Who will advance to the finals of the Black Canvas Cup? The match goes 32 minutes and 15 seconds. It suffered because there was not enough selling shown. The battle of the hosses here as Funakoshi comes out on top. And guys, that means, and I don't know if you guys have remembered, but I have been building this since the beginning of the save. The very first pay-per-view we had, in the main event, it was Funakoshi versus Furusawa. Funakoshi was the world champion at the time, and Furusawa was the challenger, and they go to a 30-minute time limit draw. Fast forward a few months, time battle, Furusawa beats Razan Okamoto for the right to face Funakoshi at the pay-per-view at the Maeda Grand Prix finals. Furusawa was not in the Grand Prix because he was facing Funakoshi, And Maeda agreed and allowed the match to go and have a 60-minute time limit. He extended the time limit 30 minutes, and they still went to a draw. The time limit expired, and they still went to a draw. Now that we have a single elimination tournament, and Maeda wanted no draws, he abolished the time limit for all these tournament matches, and that means at the pay-per-view, we will get Furusawa versus Funakoshi 3, no time limit. Winner faces Razan at the next pay-per-view for the world title, and that's going to be the finals of the tournament. Dude, I'm so glad that this came together. Mabuchi Furusawa, Funakoshi, I'm so happy that no injuries happened to either of these two men for the Black Canvas Cup. Book it. That's the main event. But after the match, we get an angle where Giant Brody, he was eliminated by Rokuemon Matsushita, and Giant Brody, he held in his anger for as long as he could. He rushes to the ring once Rokuemon's gone, and he starts laying him out. M3 come out to stop him, and the dojo guards come out to stop M3, and when it's all said and done, once M3 get their guy held back, once the dojo guards get their guy held back, these two trios agree to a trios match at the pay-per-view. Inajiro, Noritoshi, Giant Brody versus Blast, Rokuemon, and Suki. Will these two be able to coexist after the events of their singles match? And that reminds me, I need to edit this angle because I realized I ran out of time. So, my original plan was after this victory, Furusawa was going to come out and be like, you guys have finally, I've been training with you guys every single day since I shit on you during the tournament, and you guys are truly starting to impress me. I'm going to orchestrate a tag match at the pay-per-view for you two. And I ran out of time for that angle, so we're going to tweak it a little bit. Instead of that, Furusawa's going to bring Raw Power to the press conference and essentially just say what I just said. Like, ever since I shit on them, they've begun to start to impress me, so I want them. He interrupts the press conference. He's like, Maeda, I want my two guys in a match at the pay-per-view. And Maeda's like, dude, I got matches to announce on this press conference. I don't have time for this. But it just so happens that the politicians who lost earlier in the show are not happy that they lost earlier in the show, and they come storming in like, Maeda, let us have them. We'll embarrass these two guys. We'll make sure that Furusawa throws them to the curb like he did that twat fucking Shigeru Emoto. Why I said twat, and I didn't even say it like... why I said twat in the first place is crazy. Why I said it like twat is even crazier. But yes, so we're going to do the politicians. The politicians versus Raw Power at the pay-per-view. 2v2. Raw Power and politicians. This will be our steal the show probably. It'll be a nice fun match for the pay-per-view. Have Raw Power truly developed, or will they be embarrassed once again? Up next, we have Maeda or Taku and Massacre. Massacre eliminated Taku from the tournament. Taku cost Massacre his match. They're both fucking pissed at each other. And Taku's like, you fucking stole a double. I could have been double champion. You fucking stole it from me. You cheated me out of it. And Massacre's like, you want to talk about cheating out of it? It gets fucking heated. Maeda calms him down and announces that Massacre earned a Challenger Series title shot. And I'm sure Taku wants to get his hands on him anyway. So at the pay-per-view for the Challenger Series Championship, Massacre will have a chance to defeat Taku once again, this time with the Challenger Series title on the line. And then our final match pre-booked for the pay-per-view, we have 3 members of Jungle Prowlers, Finley, Tanyu, and Animal Harker, versus 3 members of Showtime, Washi, Masashi, and Yoshisada. their two leaders are going head-to-head in the pay-per-view, and they want to back their faction up. So these 6 men will go at it to hopefully swing some momentum towards their faction's way at the pay-per-view. So Intensity and Washi Tanaka versus the Wild Ones and Tanyu. And that is the final match announced. This is the full card. Main event for the Black Canvas Cup, Showtime versus Guerrilla Warfare. Challenger Series title, Massacre versus Yoshinaka. Main event preview match, Tanyu and the Wild Ones versus Intensity and Washi. Tag team titles / Marvel Malloy's contract. The Cobras defend their belts against Spinebreakers. Suguru Emoto versus Razan Okamoto. Giant Brody and the Dojo Guards versus M3, and the Politicians versus Raw Power. So a lot needed to be rushly booked, but I think it was worth it. I think it was worth letting all those matches go long to just cram everything I possibly could into this one tour day. So yeah, I don't care that it was convoluted. I'm happy with how it turned out, because the Black Canvas Cup is the stuff of fucking legends. And that is how we end the show, essentially the go-home show for BCG Generations. Alright, boys, Generations is here. We're concluding the Black Canvas Cup. We're most likely gonna have, this is probably gonna be our final show of the year. We might have one or two tour shows, if any, for Heritage at the very end of December, but for all intensive purposes, this is the final tour show. This is the final show of 2020, and it's gonna be a fucking great one. And I just want to get into it, so let's get into it. At Emperor's Choice, that's where all of our money's coming from. Is Emperor's Choice? Not what I meant to click. I meant to click this. Kobe Football Stadium, $60K. Fuck no. Why would I ever do that? No, I'll pick the generic venue. What the fuck? No. Alright. Opening the show are the tag team titles, as Spinebreakers take on the American Cobras, and after 15 minutes and a lot of contract negotiations against the biggest company in the world, Marvel Malloy picks up the victory, and he's going to be staying with Black Canvas Grappling. I have negotiated with both of them. They never negotiated with Storm. They only tried to poach Marvel, but I re-signed Storm on an exclusive written deal just in case, because I wasn't going to risk it. And Marvel Malloy picks up the victory. He can pin Nobuharu. Technical Masterclass. Open. I think everyone else will... no, it's a pay-per-view. We'll script it. Open script, slow build, decisive, and the American Cobras retain the Tag Team Championships. Up next, we have the Politicians versus Raw Power. Raw Power's first real test since joining Showtime here. Or their first real test after training with Furusawa. Their first test was when Furusawa fucked on them with Massacre and Washi. This is their first real test after properly training, and they are going to go over. They're going to take the victory. They can pin Tornado. They can pin whoever. I don't care. They can pick. Open script, steal the show, and Raw Power go over tonight. Book the segment. Up next, we have Razan Okamoto versus Suguru Emoto. And despite Emoto being a fucking scoundrel, I would say, and really being a prick, he's lost everything. He's pretty much lost everything. His plans kept failing. He kept doing the same plans. He kept getting hung up on shit, and it kept failing. His friends are no longer with him, and he's taken the fight right to the world champ, and it was a bad idea as he gets his... It wasn't the worst idea. He lasted 20 minutes with the world champion, which is no small feat, and Razan's going to acknowledge this after the match. But he takes the champ, not to the champ's limit, I would say, But he does a lot more than anyone ever thought he would. And Razan Okamoto, he helps Suguru Imoto to his feet. Despite everything, Razan still helps Imoto to his feet. And he talks from the heart to him. He's like, Razan, he's like, Suguru, we all know what's going on. We all know you've tried and tried and tried, and you just kept failing and failing and failing. And it's getting really embarrassing. But what just happened in that ring is exactly why I'm confident with what I'm about to do. Suguru, I see something in you, and a lot of people backstage also see something in you. Whether you believe it or not, a lot of important people believe in you. Now, BCG is turning into a stable heavy, a unit heavy, a group heavy company. And I'm the world champion. I have the biggest target on my back, and I need my own group. And I got a couple other guys that got my back. And out come the Spine Breakers and Shark Okimasa. And Razan said this would have been a lot cooler if the Spine Breakers won and they had titles, but it is what it is. Suguru, I know you have only been properly with the company for about a year now, and you've been in and out of 2 different stables. But the 4 of us, we're prime unit, and I want to recruit you. And with nowhere to turn, no one else to turn to, Imoto bows to Razan, he shakes his hand, and he agrees to join this brand new stable. Razan takes Imoto under his wing in his new stable, prime unit. And let's make that stable right now. Major success for these 2, normal success for the other ones. Stables, I will write the bio. I'll have the bio ready for the next pay-per-view. Once again, got this stable from IF and Rules, 2020 AI art render thread. If I remember, I will put it in the description. If not, if I don't remember, I know for a fact I put it in the description of the very first episode of the series. So, Prime Unit will have Razan as the leader, Shark as the deputy, Sojuro-sen and Nobuharu as Muscle, and Suguru Imoto as a member. And there we go, Prime Unit. The final stable I had planned from the very beginning. This one has seen different forms. I obviously I didn't originally have Imoto in it, and I didn't originally have Shark in it. I can't tell you who else I plan to have in it because that will spoil. I can't say it without spoiling what I have planned for the future of this save. But Razan and the Spine Breakers were the only 3 consistent things, the only 3 consistent members of this group since the beginning of this save. So, there we go. There is our prime unit stable, led by Razan Okamoto, our current world champion. And up next is Yoshi Nakataku versus Massacre for the Challenger Series title. And Massacre cannot do it again. He is unable of beating Yoshi Nakataku for the world title, for the Challenger Series title here. Decisive. He can go. Oh, thank God. Okay. Whew. All right, yeah, but 22 minutes, Yoshi Nakataku retains his championship. He's more fired up. Massacre also is more fired up, but that was to his detriment. He would constantly start spots out of anger, and it would be his undoing as Taku, despite him being angered, being the leader of the dojo has given him a lot of qualities, and one of those qualities is being able to think while he's stressed. And Yoshi Nakataku is able to control his anger into winning the match, while Massacre is not quite there emotionally, I guess. Up next is Jungle Prowlers versus Showtime. This one's going 23 minutes, and Big Bruiser Finley's going to get the victory here because he's fucking awesome, and he does really good every time I book him. And Yoshi Sada's going to take the pinfall because Masashi really, really impressed me during that one tour show him and Noritoshi Miura main evented. I'm going to call it. I'm pretty sure all of them can call it. I don't want to check. Slow build. book that segment. Let me get the notepad ready. I remembered that this time. Not before the recording, but right now. The Dojo versus M3. Rokuemon beat Giant Brody in the tournament and then also beat his tag team partner and stablemate Blasty Coma in the quarterfinals in a match that had a lot of tension in it. But that tension did not linger, as M3 are still that well-oiled fucking machine they always are, as Blasty Coma's able to take the victory. He can pin Inajero because he's the least over of the three. Open, called, slow build, decisive. M3 go over tonight. And then in our main event, the third time the trilogy is upon us. And it's going to go 61 minutes, 1 minute over that original, that second match when Maeda extended the time limit. He extended it to 30. He extended 30 minutes out. He just needed to extend it another minute, and the match would have finished. But in the main event of the pay-per-view, winning the Black Canvas Cup and winning this fucking war between these two men will be Mabuchi Furusawa. Open, called, slow build, decisive. Furusawa wins. This guy might need to, can we, okay, oh. Alright, and then after the match, it wouldn't be a Furusawa, it wouldn't be a promo bat, it wouldn't be a pay-per-view without Furusawa speaking his mind. Except it is. Because after it's all said and done, the wars that these two men went on, the battles that these two fought just to get back to each other only to draw once again, has taken so much out of these two men. They've formed groups to spite each other. They've won tournaments to spite each other. They've fucking, you know, everything has gone into this story between these two men. And by the time it's over, Furusawa, it's not that he doesn't have the energy to go on a tirade against Funakoshi, but I'm the fucking man, nobody can fucking touch me. He doesn't want to. Because these two men have earned mutual respect between each other. And Mabuchi Furusawa and Funakoshi don't say a word to each other and shake hands. Showtime and guerrilla warfare. Warfare. Shake hands to end their trilogy. And that is how we end BCG Generations 2020. I got 2 minutes extra that I can work with because this match needs to go 20 minutes. There we go. Good thing I caught that. Now we're out of time, as it should be. And that reminds me, before we get into the show, I really thought Yutaka was going to retire by now. So, the Dependables, they are no more. Yori is... Sorry, not Yutaka. Yori. I thought Yori was going to retire by now. Shark really needs to break out and do his own thing. He's not getting any younger. He's about to break to that, you know... I want to use him while I still can. So, we have a new team in its place, the old school, which will be Sofu and Yori. I don't know how to spell traditional. Traditional execution. Sorry, I'm getting tired. It's getting late again. So yeah, replacing the Dependables will be the old school, which is the two old guys we have on our roster, the veterans of the company, Yori and Sofu, who I'm gonna let retire here, but they're gonna retire as a team, as Shark can go on to better things, hopefully. And with that said and done, it is time to run the pay-per-view. Spinebreakers and American Cobras. We open the show with a 69. Storm Spillane proving like, yeah, you're paying me for a good fucking reason, buddy. You're paying me an exclusive written deal, and I'm going to show you why. As they get a 69 to open the show. Raw Power and the Politicians. Raw Power, they're getting really good. They're getting really good. They're not even, like, that great, per se, as of right now. But, give it another 3 months, they're going to be hitting 70s on a regular basis. They're going to be one of the best tag teams in the world. So, just you wait and see. 60 for Raw Power and the Politicians. 81 for Okamoto versus Razan. I was not expecting that. I guess the story beats were really hitting for the crowd in attendance. And the promo itself gets a 72. Prime Unit has arrived. This is who's in it. 72 for the angle. Up next is 73. Good shit. 73 from Massacre and Yoshi Nakataku. Massacre needs to get a little better. I don't know where Massacre's stats are at. He's 37, so he could be starting the time decline thing. That's why we're going to keep him in the mid-card. He might have the Joshua Taylor effect, where it's just like, on paper, he should be a workhorse, but he's got time decline starting, so we'll have to see, but no offense, I don't have huge plans for Massacre like I was going to have for Joshua Taylor, so, if he caps out at the 50 range, that's fine. So 73 for Massacre and Yoshi Nakataku. 81 for the main event preview match as Showtime and Jungle Prowlers go at it. Masashi Urogataya got a 70? Holy fuck. Good shit, dude. I gotta start pushing him. I really do. I brought him in, and I'm like, this guy's really good, and then I never gave him a chance. So I really gotta start pushing him. Animal Harker, on the other hand, 57. Tanyu got a 71. 71 for Tanyu, and then Finley with an 85. Performance of the night so far. 85. Finn is getting insane. He's becoming one of the best workers in the world. I might need to put him on a fucking exclusive deal before anyone negotiates with him. M3 versus the Dojo gets a beautiful 85. 74 for Brody. He gets the edge over Taku because his match was better overall. Suki got an 88 because he's fucking Suki and the greatest man to ever walk this earth. And then Blast got a 71, also giving him the edge over Tanyu. 71 for Blast. And Rokuemon and the Dojo Guards, not incredible performances, but that's better than they usually do, so I'll let it slide. And it's time for the main event. I don't know how well this is going to do, to be honest. I've never had a match break 60 minutes before. So, who knows how well this will do. I don't think it's going to be better than Suki versus Funakoshi earlier on the tour. But I hope it'll at least get a blue still. It did just as well as Suki. And oh my god, yep. Alright, this is the new, even though it had the same rating as Suki and Funakoshi. This right here is this is our new best match of the save so far. I'm giving this one the edge because this is literally what I've been building to since day fucking one. So, yeah. Furusawa gets an 84, and Funakoshi gets an 87. Funakoshi's not performance of the night. That goes to Suki, but match of the night, 87. Guys, we are in the Black Canvas golden age. Alright? The golden age of Black Canvas grappling. The promo got a 68. It's fine. It's fine. Finished the show. 89 for the show. Beautiful stuff. Here's everybody's performance here tonight. Everybody that had a good performance. Urogataya really, really overachieved. He really overachieved. I'm very happy with Urogataya. If I ever need somebody like in the Massacre role, like as Furusawa's right-hand man, if I ever want to push that guy beyond the mid-card, I might swap out Massacre for Uro. Just because Uro's doing fucking God's work for some reason. Speech goes as follows. Suki gets tier 1. Funakoshi gets tier 2. And Finley gets tier 3. Yeah, by the way, if I wasn't Furusawa, this is where he'd be. Right below Finley, right above Razan. So there we go. Make the speech. Everybody's happy. What a way to end out the year. Just what a way. I'm very happy with this save. I'm very happy with how it's going. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing else. And it's Christmas. Look at that. On Christmas Eve, we have an incredible show. We have an incredible show on Christmas Eve. Better than Burning Hammer. Better show than Burning Hammer. I'm going to renegotiate with one when there's one episode left because I might be able to get a better time slot by then. And, again, we're not expecting huge profits. This is probably going to get buried down to about 400K. So, going forward, I do want to keep again, like I said earlier, I want to keep splitting these episodes up in two for you guys, like a part 1 and a part 2. So, during these tours where it's like, like this one, part 1, 1, 2, 3, pop-up pay-per-view, part 2, 1, 2, 3, regular pay-per-view. And then I was going to just have that be the Grand Prix. For Grand Prix, what we do is part 1 is the group stage, part B is the playoffs and finals. And I was going to have the kickoff show always be the pop-up pay-per-view. But I think it makes more sense to have the playoffs be the pop-up pay-per-view, especially since the kickoff show for this one happened in the month before. So, yeah, we'll instead of kickoff shows, we'll have the playoffs be pay-per-views. And, yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of, and also, yeah, he's a full-time member now. He is a full-time member now. Before I forget. So that's going to do it for this edition of The Roaring Lion Lives On. What a way to finish out the year. And that means I was so happy with how the 61-minute match turned out. I forgot to pre-book it, but in the main event of Heritage, it will be Showtime Ibuchi Furusawa versus Razan Okamoto for the BCG World Championship. 2 years in a row, Furusawa gets a world title match in the main event of Heritage. Will it go differently this time? So I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all come back for the first tour of 2021.